Welcome back, Red Spotters! Another show of the Red Spotlight Podcast. I'm your host, Alexis Soto, joined by the Morenos, Alexis Moreno and David Francisco. And today they have joined me, and they are going to properly give their thoughts on the Multiverse of Madness. That is, of course, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is a follow-up to our podcast from last week, where I was with both Peter Martinez and Kyle Lira, where they, of course, gave their thoughts. And there have been trailers and news of other properties and franchises that, of course, have gotten our attention. And, you know, you show up for all that here and more on Red Spotlight number 393. Okay. So, first of all, before we get into anything, I've not been on a podcast with Alexis in a while where we've discussed anything like Disney parks related, so I'm going to start off here. And since Fantasy Fair is on hiatus for the time being, which before we get to that, I want to remind everybody listening, of course, that Turn to Page, the podcast with Alexis Moreno, Kyle Lira, David Francisco, and Peter Martinez, is currently ongoing. I believe they have just finished. This is the podcast where they've basically a book club podcast where they get into the Harry Potter book series. They are all fans of not just the films and the books, and they're rereading the series, and I believe they've just finished the first chapter. No, the first book. No, they've done the first chapter. Well, they finished the first book, The Philosopher's Stone. I have to say it, otherwise Kyle would massacre me. And then, of course, they just uploaded their audio commentary for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, to which I listened to a good bit of, and it was hilarious, to say the least.
Was a good part. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
I was enjoying it as well, and I'm happy to hear that the podcast it's going. What can you guys? First of all, how have you thought the podcast has gone, and what's coming next?
Well, we're starting the second book tomorrow. Hopefully, it's out by Friday. Mm-hmm. This Friday. But I like it. I feel like we kind of in the first episode, I said that we all read it at different times in our lives, and I feel like going back at this time when we're like about to be 30 and so much has happened with the series itself and stuff, like it's a lot of fun, and it's very interesting to go back and see things that we didn't realize or see when we were younger.
You know, it's amazing at the same time that this is an interesting time that you have all decided to go back into this franchise. And it's such a big deal for you guys now because it's like so present. But I think it's kind of a stark contrast when you think about the fact that there was a Wizarding World movie that came out in theaters and it was such a non-event. I mean,
literally, I forgot that it came out. I wanted to go to the movies this weekend, and I was like, "Oh my god, that movie is out already."
Yeah, it was out, and literally, it didn't do that great. In particular, here in the United States, and this is kind of embarrassing. Literally, this is a Harry Potter franchise film. It's not going across $100 million at the domestic box office.
I honestly know one person that's seen that movie.
Wow.
And that's it. Like, what the heck?
So I guess ultimately what killed it, like the last movie, or just the last movie that just killed any interest in this franchise, even though from what reviews say
I think it's the last movie. I think it's she who must not be named. I think it's a lot. I mean, Ezra Miller also, it's a lot of things.
There's also a Johnny Depp element where defenders of him would also be against the film because he was fired off this movie. So that's a whole thing. And I don't know. We at this podcast have never really I've had no desire in all of these years, and honestly, it's felt like it's felt like eons now, not decades, not centuries, not a millennia. It's felt like eons now that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have been like fighting with each other in the public. But it's never been as public as it is now, and everyone's talking about this. The trial that is on, the defamation trial, where like I believe Johnny Depp is suing her for like $50 million, and then she's countersuing him for double that, and it's just it's a whole thing that's happening, and I'm not like obsessed with it, but I'm on social media, I'm on Twitter, and I see the clips that happen, and I see I even when you don't want to be up to date, you're up to date with what's happening in this trial. And we've never really, I feel, have gone into any of that, especially at first, because when this story first happened, we did cover the whole Me Too explosion as it was happening in real time, and it was hard enough to deal with. Like, for me, it was Kevin Spacey. For you, Alexis, it was John Lasseter. There were a lot of people that we liked in this industry that just like fell from grace, and deservedly so, because they were not great people, obviously, and they were since like, you know, dispensed with. And one of the ones that kind of got like lost in there because, well, first of all, this wasn't sexual harassment. This wasn't sexual assault. This was the area of domestic abuse, which is not like, it's very serious, but it's not in the same, I guess, like category as sexual abuse. It's domestic abuse. It's something else entirely.
Yeah.
But this happened, and Amber Heard had all of these accusations. And at the time, because we were just like, you know, believe women, and of course, believe women, clearly. And the whole reason that thing took off was because women were never at all believed. The whole point is to get women to be heard, period. You know? I realize, of course, that it's not like a one-to-one, like perfect, like one size fits all situation. Because clearly what's come to light is Amber Heard was not being honest with some of the stuff that was coming from her camp. And it seemingly, from the evidence that I have seen and others have seen, she was taking advantage of the environment to defame the name of Johnny Depp. Now, that isn't to say, of course, that Johnny Depp's entirely blameless. I think the reality is no one's blameless. No one's innocent. These two people obviously were in a very toxic relationship, and they were obviously no good for each other, and they made each other the worse for it. And in hindsight, it would have been better for both of their careers if they had just like, you know, parted and not and just, well, not worked it out, just like left each other alone and not, because what's happened since then is they've declared war on each other in public. And so they've both kind of become like toxic names, or their reputations, shall we say, have just been like ruined because of their insistence on like not letting this thing go. Mm-hmm. To Johnny Depp's credit, though, what's happened with this trial, in some ways, it has rehabilitated his name somewhat with the fact that he's gotten his chance to have his piece, to speak what he wants to say for all of these years about how he has felt. But I don't know. I think like this is a situation where no one can ever really know what happened, you know? And I've liked Johnny Depp. Obviously, we've all liked Johnny Depp in many of his films. And I think there is an appetite where there wasn't years ago, where he should have some kind of peace and maybe have some projects to come back. Now, again, like, I can't say definitively if he, like, quote unquote, hit her or not. I can never be in that position. I can never know what happened. But I can also, it's not a clear situation where it's like we know when we see these situations where one guy is the bad guy and one is the abused and everything. But what's come to light in the evidence is that she was also very psychologically abusive toward him. So it's like we're in a situation where, you know what? I don't know, but yeah, basically. But it's been my experience that I've encountered more people that fall on Johnny Depp's side of things than Amber Heard's side of things. And it's interesting how it's affected the movies, because just today or just this week, Amber Heard revealed that her role in the upcoming Aquaman 2 By the way, anyway, Amber Heard's role in the upcoming Aquaman 2 has been downsized dramatically because of what's happened. That's what she claims. So that's the first we've heard of that. Of course, we know that Johnny Depp was fired from the last Harry Potter movie because of what happened. So, that's a whole situation that's happened. And I don't know, I really want to, it's just an interesting moment, and I wonder what you guys think about this whole situation.
I mean, I feel like I'm on the same boat. Like, I just...
So by the way, guys, I have to address it because then we were giggling and laughing. Peter just, like, injected himself into this call. He's currently at Disneyland, and of all the things, he feels the need to jump on this call. So, okay. But he has since left, and so now we're back on track. Alexis, go ahead.
It's a lot of he said, she said now.
Yeah.
And I think that, at this point, it's like, it's both of you. Like, both of you are not good for each other, and just, like, stop. I don't know. Like, it's, like, I don't think that it's okay to be like, oh, because, in the beginning it was Johnny Depp who was being blamed, for things that Amber Heard said, and then now it's Amber Heard, but, like, I don't think that's okay either, because, like, both of them suffered, but also both of them did the suffering, like, the abuse, I guess. And it's just, like, no, just stop, like, stop while you can, I guess, like,
I don't know if you can at this point. We'll see what happens at this trial, right? But the thing is, like, the perception used to be Johnny Depp hit his wife, and it was like, oh shit. That's how, like, how the story was first reported. Which was also
very, like, like, I mean, selfishly, like, sad, I guess, or, like, heartbreaking, because this is, like, a person that, like, we all grew up with, like,
it was depressing. We didn't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that one was the one that, like, secretly, like, hurt us the most, because I don't think we talked about it.
We never talked
about it. Like, all the other ones, like, we did, and they were sad, obviously, but I feel like that one we were like, no fucking way. Like, and, like, I think of, like, Kyle, like, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, and Kyle, well, the thing is, I think, like, for anything... He was the biggest Johnny Depp fan, and at first he was very much, like, very disappointed and very hurt by, like, the initial reports of what came out. But last I heard, like, with more of information that's come to light, he firmly believes that not that Johnny's innocent, but that he's more on his side now than on her. And I think that kind of, like, resembles how the public has seemingly, like, I'm not sure it's, like, for everybody, but for some people out there, and I'm not counting the Heard people or the Depp people. They're their own camps for sure. But for the public, how this first started was Johnny Depp accused of hitting his wife. Then years later, now with this trial, it seems like there's been kind of a turn where there's been significant doubt on that first impression period, and now the whole thing looks as if, like, well, she was out to get him, and that she either made things up or intentionally went after him to hurt his career because they broke up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what it looks like, and I think a lot of people feel like that's what it looks like. And so we've now come at the other end of it where Heard herself has, like, I guess it's Kyle, I think, joked about it the last podcast, but I think it's now a thing where she's now called Amber Turd because she defecated on the bed. Unless she literally shit the bed, and that's gonna stick with her forever now.
Yeah. And, I mean, even, like, as the trial goes on and as we, get, like, I don't know, like who won or whatever.
Mm-hmm. A verdict, you mean, in this trial?
We won't really know, like, because, like, it's the jury's gonna decide, You know what I mean? And it's very much like who doesn't fucking know Johnny Depp? You know what I mean? Like, it very much is on the people on that trial that is gonna decide. And honestly, I don't see how somebody, like, I truly hope that they got people that are, like, looking at this evidence and, you know, not thinking about, like, who's on the trial rather than the evidence at hand. But I can't see that being the case. And I don't know. I just feel like we're not truly gonna know, and it's, I don't know. It just all feels like icky at this point, at least to me. Like, I don't know.
You know what's also very icky, you know, looking back at all of this, is where the hell were Jerry Bruckheimer and the people at Disney making Johnny Depp make a Pirates movie under these conditions? Like, not only was he, like, his marriage falling apart, but he had substance abuse issues, whether it be with alcohol or what otherwise. And when you watch the last Pirates movie, you can tell.
Oh yeah,
that stopped being Jack Sparrow, and he was just Johnny Depp being drunk. Literally, yeah. I'm not even sure that's a joke. That qualifies as a joke. Like, if you watch that movie, it's like, and I guess they just went with it and they shot it.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's bad.
It is. I just think ultimately, like, this is just two people being really bad for each other that should never have gotten together, and they have the power and the money to take it as far as they have. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It is interesting. Not that I would care ultimately, because I think Disney really... Well, I know some of us have different opinions. I know, Alexis, you only really liked the first Pirates movie. But for a lot of us, we really like the first three ones. And we are of the mind that Disney really messed it up with 4 and 5, where they just kind of, like, threw them together. But Jerry Bruckheimer, for whatever that's worth, did say this week that he does see another Pirates film with Johnny Depp coming back. And I don't think that's something he would have said a year ago. So I don't know. For what that's worth, who knows what that could do. And I think it also did come to light in the defamation trial that Johnny Depp did feel hurt by Disney when they just cut ties with him and didn't, because I think he felt like a sixth film was going to happen and he was going to have a chance to have a proper goodbye to it. I think a lot of people did expect that. And look, the films, the quality, we can discuss how not good they are in a lot of ways, but they always made so much money. Like, I think like the last three films made $1 billion.
I think the last three films paid for Shanghai.
So, yeah, that was a whole side thing. So we did the trial and then the Turn to Page podcast. I had initially wanted to open the podcast with a Disney Parks discussion. Okay. So I just mentioned that Peter was currently in the Disney Park situation. Disney Parks. He's at Disneyland. Sorry, my mind's scattered today. He's in Disneyland right now. And he asked a question yesterday. Now, yeah, I got to be honest, because we all went on our trip. By the way, if you want to listen to how our amazing trip went, go to the Fantasy Fair podcast and look up those 2 podcasts we did where we discussed our whole trip. It was an amazing discussion on a great trip. If you want to hear about that. I kind of, like, plugged out after that. Like, I have not, like, as soon as, like, the new Genie Plus bullshit and paying for extra fast passes and all these, like, lightning lanes, as soon as that was implemented, I was like, bye. I just, like, was not even paying attention to what has happened since then. All I know is the guest experience has gone down and the profits have gone up. And as far as the board of the company is concerned, that's enough for Chapek to stay on.
Yep.
And I hate that. And I hate the idea of getting excited about Disney parks now because of this mentality. I hate it. I just hate it completely. But there's that. So he asked a question yesterday about, like, what the current status was for, like, getting a spot on the Rise of the Resistance attraction. And I honestly couldn't tell him because I didn't know where that was. Because last we had to acquire a boarding pass. Now, I know that was suspended when it came to the Florida theme park. I don't know where that stood when it came to California.
I think Disneyland as well.
So the boarding groups are done now?
I think so.
So how does it work?
Yeah, because my mom went on the Spider-Man ride and she waited a long time and she ended up hating it. And this was back in December.
Why didn't you warn her not to waste her time?
I didn't know. I didn't know she was gonna do that.
It's basically just a Midway Mania 3.0 at this point. Like, why would you?
She literally, even like till this day, she's like, "Yeah, that's a horrible ride."
I don't think it would be horrible if you waited like 30 seconds for it. If you waited like hours for it, get the fuck out with hours. That. They waited hours. God damn. That's so not worth it. So that is to suggest then that the Rise of the Resistance, which by the way is a ride that is absolutely worth however long you want to wait for it, is now standby line?
Yeah, I believe so.
But that also means the Lightning Lane? Okay. Well, I'm not... Well, we'll see if that's an improvement.
And Genie Plus and all that.
Yeah.
I honestly... I haven't, like, seen how all of that works. I feel the same. Like, It
just turns you off.
Yeah. And it just feels so complicated that I'm just like, why am I, like, watching an instruction manual?
It gets more complicated. Well, that's what we did. We did that the last time we were there, the day before.
Like... No.
It's crazy. No, it's a lot. I look, the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because I saw a video by Ordinary Adventures, one of the vloggers that goes regularly to the parks, and it had to do with something called Star Wars Nights, which I believe was just like a 3-night thing. And I was looking at all the stuff they had there, so it was like basically, it's the template for, you know, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween or the booth, whatever they call it now, the parties that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like character meet and greets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're gonna talk about.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, look, it's an ingenious, like, paid event for sure, and I would gladly, like, pay to experience it. But what the hell, man? Like, I compare that to the lacklusterness that is available anywhere at Avengers Campus. But you know what Avengers Campus did have? And I did see another one of the Ordinary Adventure videos where they were just at Avengers Campus. And there were so many characters walking around. Well, that's the whole reason you go to Avengers Campus. And we've said for, I think, years now, you go to Galaxy's Edge, and there are no characters. Maybe you'll see Kylo walking away from you. And that's about it. But then at the Star Wars Night event, like, there were so many character meet and greets. You had 3PO, R2, BB-8. I cannot believe those 3 characters you cannot meet at all. Like, ever at all. You had, like, meet and greets for the, I think, Ewoks. Even Jabba the Hutt. Like, they had, like, a Jabba the Hutt sculpture, like, set up with Salacious Crumb. This is hilarious. There were, like, the aliens from the Cantina Band. You know, the big, like, with the big heads.
Yeah. In the Rivers of America?
Yes! And that was so cool.
Not only did they have the Clone Wars version of Ahsoka.
They did, didn't they? Yes,
Clone Wars, like, not even Rebels, not
Rosario Dawson.
Yes, Clone Wars Padawan Ahsoka.
Wow.
And Rex.
There was also Ezra and Sabine were there for meet and greets from Star Wars Rebels. Like, they really went all out, and it's like, dude, we could have had this since 2019. There was no need to lock yourself into this.
They should have brought back the the meet and greet for the guy that's in the Millennium Falcon ride.
Hondo?
Yes!
Hondo Onaka. Oh, dude.
That one was beautiful.
And just like, look how much excitement that generates to see the characters in, I don't know, a place called Star Wars Land of all places. Like, imagine that. Like, how much life that brings to a place called Star Wars, or you know, galaxies or whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, just like, oh God, it angers me a little bit. Like, I would have loved to have seen all of those wonderful characters. And I think like we all had somewhat of an expectation that would be a no-brainer when that was announced all those years ago, back in 2015, 2014. The idea of a Star Wars land, you know?
That was what we were supposed to get. Like...
And look, Galaxy's Edge is impressive for a lot of reasons, but it also drops the ball, stupidly enough. If nothing else, but for the lack of characters. I mean, yeah, Chewie is nice. And maybe every now and then you can see Rey. And again, Kylo walks away from you. And then the stormtroopers are like, and then you get harassed by stormtroopers. Okay, I'm not sure that's not my idea of like a character meet and greet that's pleasant. But that's not enough. Whereas you go to Avengers Campus, you see Black Widow, Black Panther, Captain America, like you have Moon Knight. You had Moon Knight meet and greets that were awesome.
All of the Loki versions.
All the Loki variants, right?
That's sick.
The Scarlet Witch meet and greets, which
I saw a video of Ant-Man and Wasp.
The Purple Witch. Yes, the Ant-Man and the Wasp thing is so cool.
But they were carrying like a miniature bug.
That was awesome.
Thing that was awesome.
Like, please explain.
They have the Guardians out there. They have Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man.
They have America Chavez already.
That's what America Chavez.
So chill.
So chill. Yes. So chill.
So chill.
Yeah. Never let Kyle pronounce a name. He cannot pronounce a name if it would save his life. It's immediate death. But they even had like America Chavez was out there. They also had Moon Knight, like the Eternals are out there as well for a bit.
So cool.
Well, didn't he? That costume looked great. Did you see it, David? The Moon Knight like meet and greet.
No,
they had both. They had the Mark Spector Moon Knight, and then also Stephen Grant's like Mr. Knight outfit was also available too. It was two versions.
That's the one I haven't seen.
When Falcon and the Winter Soldier were out, they had them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it. They could do so many things.
But the thing is, with Avengers Campus, that's all they got. It's just that, then maybe like, then the ride. But you know what? I will say this.
Galaxy's Edge was like that for so long.
Yeah. I did catch a glimpse of the Doctor Strange show with America Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually really entertaining. I was surprised how entertaining a Doctor Strange show could be at Avengers Campus, but it was pretty good. So
Shang-Chi, they had Shang-Chi.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So they had so many characters, like it's just like
the only one they didn't have was Black Widow in the white outfit because hate women.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course they do that. No, but it was I was watching a video of like Black Widow, like I don't know, like having a Zumba class or something, or like she was just like working out with people and then she was like running around like, and that was funny because like who would want to work out at Disneyland? that was the weirdest thing I ever saw in my life. But hey, I guess if you want to work out with Black Widow,
you know, when people tell me now, like, oh, I went to Disneyland for like 3 days, I went for 2 days, I immediately get tired and I get flashbacks.
We wouldn't have been as tired if we had the 3 days. Like, maybe not 2 consecutive days, but like maybe had 1 day in between to like sleep. And recover. That's what we needed, honestly. No, but yeah, Galaxy's Edge needs that. And you know what? I've also been a big proponent of as far as like what they've been missing is the music. And did you see that like fireworks show, that Star Wars fireworks show at Sleeping Beauty? Dude, like I cannot believe they don't do more of those. Like picture a Disneyland fireworks spectacular with nothing but Star Wars music.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about it was, okay, I get the fact that you're gonna have the Mandalorian theme in there because it's a big show and it's the Disney Plus, like whatever. I get it. What I don't get is you have a Star Wars fireworks show, and you don't start off with the classic John Williams opening fanfare. You start off with like the Mandalorian theme song.
Gross.
And then you hear "This Is the Way."
No, it ain't.
So, and then I saw clips of, like, they had obviously the Princess Leia theme, the Darth Vader theme, Duel of Fates, Rey's theme, thankfully was in there. So, yay, we get some sequel trilogy theme song in there. The Han and Leia theme. Yeah, so it was a great fireworks show. And I didn't see the whole thing. It was just like a highlights reel. So if you get a chance to see it, go, because you probably will never see it in person. I wish I had seen it in person, though. Like, that Star Wars night thing would be something I would be worth, that's the only thing so far that's caught my interest in, like, you know, paying that upcharge. Not so much the Boo Bash or the Christmas stuff like that.
I want to do the Boo Bash, not the Christmas one.
I would like to experience it. I wouldn't pay at the moment to do that. The Star Wars stuff, I would seriously consider.
Honestly, I mean, we went to, like, the Disneyland version one, and that was I think that one was worth it.
Which one? Halloween?
The not so scary Halloween party.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen from Boo Bash, that honestly looks way cooler, so I would definitely
The
pay
Boo
to
Bash,
do that.
though, did have fun characters. Like,
yes.
Agatha Harkness.
And I love, like, seeing characters, so I would pay to do that so fast. And it's so fun because, you know, you have people, like, Disney bounding to Disneyland and stuff, but, like, people get so creative when they...
Yeah.
Didn't we see characters? Or didn't we see people dressed up?
We encountered a person as we were waiting in line to get back on the bus to get out of the place. We encountered somebody who had a legit Scarlet Witch costume.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. People get so creative and so, like, excited. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, I think. And I would definitely pay to do that. But, like, all the other ones... you know which one else I would do? I would maybe do, like, the 90s night or the 80s night. If they bring those back, I would do those. But all the other ones, I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Also, it goes to show you how it has not been overstated. It can't be overstated, really, how popular a character Scarlet Witch is.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel, do something more with her, please. Not like, I know there's a project coming for her. I mean, like, do more with the character. Because, like, look how much money she's making you. Look how popular that character is. It's crazy. So, yeah, that's one of the many rants I wanted to open up the show with. This next thing, Alexis, you may not care about because you're not into Doctor Who, but there's been a lot of news. Well, there's been a lot of news, period. There's a new Doctor coming, and a couple of old ones coming back for the next year. 2023 is the 60th anniversary of the series first debuting on television. I think it was 1963 then. Yeah, it would be 60 years. And to me, look, there's a new Doctor coming. It was already announced that David Tennant, who played the 10th Doctor, and Catherine Tate, who played Donna Noble, are coming back. Also, literally Donna's whole family, as well as, obviously, you know, Russell T. Davies is back in charge. David, I don't know if it's just me here, but, like, you can feel the difference. We haven't seen a single, like, episode or a frame, really. But can you feel the difference in how, like, Doctor Who is, like, being talked about and how the people behind the show are like, treating it now? Whereas Chris Chibnall was... Like, I'll be honest with you. I think Chris Chibnall might be one of the worst writers I've ever, like, seen like media from.
Yeah.
Like I think his style of writing is not quite as bad as Chris Terrio, J.J. Abrams, like Rise of Skywalker level, but I think it verges on that a lot of the times. And I think legit, like, Chris Chibnall was like not doing this on purpose. I just think he's not a good writer. I think he was killing the show. Like, no one cared. I didn't care. I didn't see that whole last season because why would I?
Yeah, same.
And I've been even seeing the reviews for these specials, and guess what? They've not been good. Jodie Whittaker, the first female Doctor, only has one episode left, and it will air sometime this year. And literally, not one person on this planet gives a flying fuck that she has like one more episode to go. Everyone's like mentally checked out and moved on to like what's happening next year with the 60th anniversary special and that new season with this new Doctor. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the new Doctor or David Tennant and Donna coming back. Like it's just it's funny, sad that this happened to the first female Doctor, but and Jodie Whittaker had nothing to do with why her era failed, and I feel bad for her the most out of anybody involved. Mm-hmm. But it's a failure. I mean, I don't know how you can get around it. It's just a complete abject failure. Like, not only did, like, to me, most of her episodes do not register for me. Her as a Doctor, even more so, just does not register with me. Mm-hmm. And that's just a big, epic fail. The show has never failed as big as this, at least to me. At least in this modern era. And I feel you agree because you don't even watch it anymore. No, why would you watch it anymore?
Oh, yeah, like I said, I agree with you that I didn't watch that last season. I haven't watched those specials. I'm not even
don't care.
Yeah, I'm not even interested in watching like clips of the latest season. So I don't know.
But I will. I'll be back day one, the new for that 60th anniversary special, because what we've seen, and look, it's not a. It's just it's something of a tear-jerking thing, at least to me, to see like pictures of like the 10th Doctor and Donna especially back. Like, I never thought that would happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it makes you think like, what next does Russell T Davies have in store? I feel like he's going out of his way to top the 50th anniversary, which is the Day of the Doctor, which, by the way, he had no involvement in. Mm. At least I'm aware of. That was all Stephen Moffat. So, and you can tell also he's a great hype man. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, hyping people up about like the stuff that he's working on and getting people excited about the show in a way Chris Chibnall was just never present for any of this. Like, he's so like involved in every piece of this, and he's legitimately a fan at this. I'm not saying Chibnall wasn't a fan, but he just wasn't anywhere with the fan base, connecting with them on a face-to-face level. Every day now is an event where like people are keeping track and like filming like scenes being shot. Like, there have been scenes where like all like with a part of the main cast for the big like anniversary special coming up next year. So for me, it's just a very exciting time. Like, it's just and finally, because I've waited since like, honestly, since 2018, I've been waiting to feel like anything for Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I mean, we know what Davies is capable of in this show, and so we're all just getting excited, and it is getting me curious as to like what the heck is he planning with David Tennant, because for one thing, I'm worried about Donna, because like, she finds out who the Doctor is, she's probably dead. It's
but it seems like it was given away in these images that she's gonna have to, right?
Yeah.
She goes with him. She goes with him on the TARDIS after what I think is most likely like 16, 17 years after that happened, with her daughter now being there, like as part of the actors that was in the cast that we saw in those set photos. So to me, I know the ending that Russell gave Donna was rough. I know from a writing standpoint, it was like one of those things where at the time it felt like the right thing to do from a writing standpoint, but it always sucked because that was the one like companion where she never remembered anything of what happened. And it felt especially crappy at the time.
To be fair, she's also one of the only ones though that does have like a happy ending. still?
Well, she lives.
Yeah.
She's alive, and the rest of them kind of... I mean, no, seriously, you have no idea how many of them died.
I know.
Like, so, I mean, the fact that she's breathing is, first of all, that's great.
She has life.
She has life. But she did get a happy ending, that's right. So, at the very end, but, like, we'll see... but very clearly, this is after, a long time after that whole thing happened, so... But it also is not yet, like... It's not yet known if, like, they're the main part of this as well. Like, who knows who else may come back?
Yeah.
So we're still waiting as to how that's all going to happen. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be, and it's an interesting time because I think this is a great way to, like, segue into my next thing. I have, fallen down a rabbit hole, it seems like. I'm not on a poster binge or a, like, Blu-ray binge now. Like, and when I mean binge, I mean, like, buying shit, like, all the time. So I have no more need of posters, as you can see from my room. And as far as, like, movies are concerned, I think, like, yeah, I've bought like 20 at least this year. At least so that's what it feels like. So I'm kind of good with that. But since I had a birthday recently, and one of the things that I was trying to acquire for a while now that I was looking at was a Agent Coulson Funko Pop, which is one of the rarer ones, not the rarest, but one of the rarer ones that you have out there. I don't do Funko Pops. Like, I've never had any of those. I know you guys do have some of those, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've just, like, that's never been my thing to collect some of that stuff. That's since changed, predictably, because
oh my god,
it's so dumb.
I don't even want to know.
I feel terrible. But at the same time, it feels so good because, like, it's you get it, don't you? You get it.
It takes me forever to decide, like, should I get it? Should I not? I walk the whole store, and then finally I'm like, I'm just gonna get it. And then I buy it, and I'm like, okay.
So the thing is, for Christmas, Kyle got me a, first of all, it was like a Goku, like, Super Saiyan Blue collectible. That was one of it. The other thing was a 1962 red Corvette, which is Phil Coulson's, like, Lola. That's this car that he has in the show. So it stands to reason that the gift that I decided to get for myself was a Phil Coulson, like, Funko Pop, and I got it, and it was great. But then out of nowhere, I was like, well, you know, I did see Peter Capaldi is my favorite Doctor Who. He is the 12th Doctor. And then I happened to just, like, you know, browse eBay just to see it, and I saw there was a listing for a 12th Doctor Funko Pop. And I was like, okay, get. And that was it. That was like, you know what? That's it. That was the only other one I wanted, because I like this character a lot, and I want it, and I got it. Good. By the way, not obscene prices for these. So, not there yet, anyway. Then, I can show you the images, obviously, of all of these. So, long story short, there's this whole section behind me that I'm reorganizing, and of course that demands more things. For my birthday, evidently, Peter got me a Appa figure, like a big Appa, and then also Aang and Uncle Iroh. So this is a whole, like, Last
I need
Airbender.
Uncle Iroh.
And he got it at Walmart of all places. It was just like one of the last ones that was there.
What the fuck?
I know.
I've never seen him. I've never seen him.
To be clear,
I've
they
seen
are not.
the Cabbage Man so many times. I've seen Aang. I've seen Zuko. Zuko is like the rare ones because that's like the really collectible. I have that one. Like the one where he's like shooting blue lightning. But I've never seen Iroh.
Yeah. But to be fair, these collectibles, the Appa, Aang, and Uncle V, there aren't Funkos. These are actual, like, figures. So they're not on the Funko Pop line. They're actual action figures. Just to be clear about that, so they weren't Funkos. I want to make that distinction. I was at Target and like it caught my attention that Target has like this whole wall space dedicated to like these collectibles. By the way, I also blame you, Alexis, because like years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, you did give me a great gift, which was what are they called? Fig pins. It was an Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars fig pin, and then also a General Grievous like figure. At Walmart, I also saw, this was like a year and a half ago, a Maul one from the Clone Wars, and I got that one. So you know what? It's building.
It's from the Clone Wars.
Yes, from the Clone Wars, obviously. So I was at Target the other day, and I saw this, and I think I shared a picture with it on the chat. This really, like, I didn't know these existed. This was like a fig pin pop, like, combo, a pop pin? No, a Funko. A pop pin, I think is what they call it. Of the Scarlet Witch. You know I couldn't walk away from that. It was like, okay, and I got it. So, again, I tell myself, that's it, no more. As I sit, there are 3 more on the way, coming on the way, at least 3 more. Because I see on eBay there are some great prices. Now, some of them, obviously, I don't care if they're in the box or not, because I don't have the space for them to be in the box anyway, so...
I know, same. I can't keep them in the box. There's only one thing that I keep in the box, and half of them are in my closet because they don't fit anywhere. And I get so sad, but the boxes are huge, because I'm in the same boat. I love Funko Pops. All of my gifts are always gonna be Funko Pops. But I limit myself. I only collect the Last Airbender Funko Pops, and if there's any Gremlin ones, I collect those. I already kind of have the ones that I want, which I have an Alice in Wonderland one. I have a Grease one. I have Ariel. I have Ahsoka. So those are kind of like... Oh, and then I have some Gremlins ones. So, like, I'm set. But I need all of the Avatar ones. Like, I need those. And I still need a few. But
you have to limit yourself, because if you don't, you'll just, like, buy everything.
It's bad. It's so bad. And the other thing that I collect are Gremlins, like, action figures. I have about... I think I have 8 of them.
Wow.
There's 2 in one box, so that's about 9. But the boxes are huge. Do you remember the thing that I got Peter? Like the Pan's Labyrinth thing? It's that big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and he collects those, by the way. Those big...
No, I only collect the Gremlins ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's
His thing is monsters.
There's no room. And I get so sad. And I don't want to take out of the box because I think the box is so pretty.
No, like those you can't.
Yeah.
Like with, it
and
depends,
there's
obviously.
like different pieces to them also.
No, look, Alexis, I think you have the right mentality. And I think with me, the approach that I've been taking is to like keep myself from like not, slipping into financial ruin. Is characters that I love. And naturally, it began with Coulson. Then it was the Peter Capaldi Doctor. Then Scarlet Witch, Wanda. All right, well then what came after? Cap. Now, again, the Cap was out of the box, and it was like, was it $4 on eBay? So like, how could I not? And then Ahsoka. And this is great, because the Ahsoka one was in the box, and the guy offered it to me for $6. I can't refuse that. Like, I just can't. And today, and the thing is this. Obviously, I love Daisy Johnson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Those Funkos, and there's several on eBay, the standard retail price is $150. Because they're so fucking rare. So obviously, no. That's horrendously obscene. But I did win one in a bid today. Out of the box. For like so much less money. So, and it's coming. So I got 3 more that are coming on the way. And then I'm thinking about this other one that's like Rey from The Last Jedi, which is like also $8, and it's like, look, this is like a poison, because like as soon as you get one, it's like, okay,
you can't stop. You can't stop.
And then I get into a mode, okay, like which one's can I get for Kyle, and which one's can I get for Peter, and it's just like it doesn't stop. And you know what is also sad though?
I actually still have Kyle's and Peter's Christmas present with me because
Really?
I forgot it last time that I saw you guys. And I got Kyle a Mark Hamill one.
Oh, really?
Like Mark Hamill, like not
Mark
like,
Hamill, Funko Pop. Okay.
And
he won't know because he won't listen to this podcast. So
yeah.
Neither will Peter. So you can also tell me what you've done.
Oh, it's okay. I'll save that one. But
okay. Right. So I had forgotten about that because you guys actually sent over your gift to me in the mail, which was I think you guys.
Well, that one because we ordered on Amazon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which that is beautiful to this very day. One of the things I have noticed though is one of the easiest ones you can get for like $2, $3 is Rose Tico from The Last Jedi.
That one's always on the shelf. Always.
And I just feel so bad. Also, there's a whole bunch of Eternals ones. Like on Walmart, there's like Thena's, Gilgamesh, a lot of Cersei's. Those are the main ones that I see. But yeah, I'm really curious though, like how, and maybe if I go on YouTube, I'll find a video. I'm curious to see what all of those like look like together, all 10 Eternals, because there's Funkos for all 10 of them.
Mm-hmm. I have one.
Yes, you do. Kyle gave you one of the Druig, along with the Druig poster. So that was a great gift. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at, mentally speaking, and so obviously you can tell I'm, falling apart as a human being.
Welcome.
Anyway. Yeah, so there is that. And David, one thing before we move off of... no, you know what? Not one thing. I think we'll save this part for Multiverse of Madness, because this is one aspect we didn't get into, and you know what it is. I'm sorry, I'm just so distracted today. I don't know what this is. I was just sticking out of something. I don't know. Okay. Anyway. It's been a week. It's not even. This is like Tuesday. All right. I'm just done with the year. Anyway, shall we then transition into, well, I was going to say Multiverse of Madness, but there's actually some kind of madness to cover before the fact. Did you guys have any thoughts about some of the films that you guys saw, which were the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nick Cage, and then also The Northman by Robert Eggers? Did you have anything you want to say about those movies, if you saw them?
Yeah, I saw both. Northman?
I saw none.
Yeah. The Northman, yeah, I saw that one in theaters.
I'm sorry, I was in Europe.
She was, actually.
That's right. She had much better things to do than to watch like some peasant films. She was like living up in the south of France.
Yeah, I actually did watch both when you were in Europe, so
I know.
But The Northman, I really enjoyed it. It's just a really good revenge story. Story of violence begets violence and all that. But
it's Lion King.
It's Lion King, yeah.
It's really Lion King. Yeah. The story. It's because Lion King is based on
I
Hamlet.
heard that it has something to do with the Vivitch. Is that correct?
It's the guy who directed it.
It's the guy that made it, but it's not connected to it. I don't think.
Okay.
No.
I saw some stuff that they were saying it was.
Maybe some theories, but like his films are not intentionally like interconnected.
Yeah.
Like they're all like history based, but they're not like interconnected.
Well, I don't think any of us has seen The Witch, so
No, Not that I know of, right? I haven't seen The Witch. No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, that's
He's seen The Lighthouse, but not The Witch.
no. Peter and Kyle get off to The Witch every day. From what I they never shut up.
I've seen the beginning.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they love it for a reason. I've never seen it. I only saw The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
So.
But I was mainly excited about this movie because of the director. I hadn't seen any of his movies before this, and I wanted to, but I could. But I was too lazy to do it. But I was really excited to see like what the heck is he capable of, because from images of his movies, he seems like he knows. He seems like a really good director.
No, he is. This Northman is the most mainstream of the three films. So just to be aware, like the Witch and Lighthouse are a little bit more art house fare, but I'm sure Lighthouse is. It's a great movie. I don't care about the Lighthouse, but it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. That's all. I'll leave it there, and you know how I feel about that. But the Northman was very, very good.
Yeah.
Like technically. The acting also too was great. I guess to me, like the lingering thing about the movie that sticks with me is just how atrocious it was. Like, cause like Robert Eggers is very committed to like accurate historical depictions of like people and how they were. And these Vikings, they were bad people.
Oh my god!
Like there's a scene in this movie where a whole village is like burned alive inside of like a hut, and you hear the screams.
And they just did it because
they could.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of that there. But I thought it was a very, very, very good film.
Yeah, it's a good story. Like you said, the actors are great. I actually really love the characters. The love story between the two main characters, I actually like.
There's some fucked up shit that happens with I think our main character is Alexander Skarsgård. Him and Nicole Kidman plays his mom. There's a scene at the end where there's I thought the grossest thing I saw this year in a theater was literally two like 80-year-olds fuck. And I saw that in the movie X, the A24 horror film X. And these were gross looking people, obviously in like old people makeup, but they were like, yeah, that was gross. There was something here, and you know what it is, David. There's a
incest?
where it gets. You got it.
And I was laughing though too, because everyone, like, out of the entire movie, and that's the one scene that kind of got a lot of reaction. It was just ooh.
They're like, ooh. I would have laughed.
And I was kind of laughing about it, but you know,
this is a film where you see like nonstop gross things, but that's the thing that was like, whoa, what are you doing here? Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think they wouldn't. You would think that we, didn't watch Game of Thrones.
I know, yeah. Wait, real quick, that trailer. I saw it. It looked really good.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm so excited for Game of Thrones night to be back. I've missed it so much.
It's been a long time.
It feels so long. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Nice.
And Matt Smith, he's finding some great TV work.
He looks so good.
Like, Matt Smith, for whatever reason, can't do it in movies. Like, he keeps getting, like, bad, like, project
Morbius.
after bad project. No, yeah, Morbius was that it. But, like, when it comes to TV roles, he keeps killing it. You go from Doctor Who to Prince Philip, and now this.
A Targaryen?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Also, does he age? Like, he's almost 40. He's 39. He's 39. And you know what's even crazier, David? Like, when he was having new episodes when he was cast as Doctor Who, he was 26.
He's our age. Oh no. What are we doing?
Well, now younger than our age.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, so. Or about to be. So, yeah. That's a whole thing. But no, but it was a very good trailer. And you know what? It's like, you know what? Fuck yeah. Why not? I miss this universe. Let's go back to it.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, Northman, any last thoughts on it?
No, that's it.
Okay, what about Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
I loved it. It was funny. It's so funny, yeah. And then I listened to your guys' review, and I agree with Peter that there was something about it that almost felt like they were holding back on the Nick Caginess of it.
They should have gone more into it.
I really thought they were gonna go big. Like as soon as you see his like imaginary double, I thought like, oh cool, like we're gonna get this all the time. It's just gonna be them going back and forth or something. But no, it just happens like two times after that. And I mean, Pedro Pascal, he was so great. I really loved this character, and I really believed their friendship by the end of the movie. It was so great.
I know, right? Isn't it funny to see Pedro Pascal act in something?
Yeah, I'm actually very curious what got him interested in that role. Like, does he love the cage that much too, or?
It's so good to see his face because you can't ever see it on his own show.
But yeah, no, it's a really funny movie. I think if you are a Nick Cage fan, you should watch it.
Yeah, it was a great look. It's been a great year to see comedies in the movies again. Between this and then also The Lost City, which it wasn't great, but it was good for what it was. It was Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum.
I heard a lot of good things about that one.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, Peter and Kyle did as well. So it was a win all around. And guess what? That made more money than, I think, Fantastic Beasts 3.
Wow.
At least here stateside. So, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Wizarding World this weekend.
I know I don't talk about it as much because I don't really am into the universe. Obviously, I'm not on the podcast with you guys with Return to the Page, but that theme park experience, Wizarding World, is wow. I mean, that, and especially that attraction, the Forbidden Journey, I believe that's what it's called. Wow. One of the best theme park attractions ever created. And by the way, that's coming from somebody who is an arachnophobe, and there was a sequence where you are surrounded nothing but giant spiders.
I'm honestly, I'm super excited because I haven't been to Universal Studios in maybe 10 plus years. Yeah. But I am scared.
Of the spiders.
I am scared of the spiders. I'm scared of the dinosaurs.
Oh, the dinosaurs.
I'm scared.
That Jurassic World ride, I think also, I would say, is in the pantheon of all-time great theme park attractions.
I mean, even the original was so good.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park one, yeah.
There's no way that I would know that.
So it's not just a water thing where you drop, but you also drop in the direction of big fucking dinosaurs that are gonna eat you.
I'm so scared. And I feel like they added a million more.
They did.
There was so many before, and now it's just out of every single direction they're coming at you. And you know what I'm so freaking scared of? Those stupid videos that keep popping up of blue coming out of the bushes and people taking pictures. Oh my god, I am so scared.
Just don't go near a bush.
Oh my god. But I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Is anyone looking forward to the new Jurassic World movie? Or are you just gonna?
I'm still pissed off. I'm still getting over
the last one. The last one was bad.
Oh my god. I get so angry just thinking about it.
The last one was it was all kinds of bad. It was it was boring, and it was just dumb.
Do you remember my reaction, David?
No.
I was just this is fucking stupid. What? Oh my god.
I think to me, that was one of the most, that was one of the worst, movies I've seen in a theater with Kyle. He and I we're so on the same page. We're not always on the same page, by the way. And a lot of times we're like very much on opposite ends. We were like zapped of all energy. I think we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and got drunk because it was just bad. Anyway, while we move off of this quickly, anything about the Avatar trailer that apparently is now the single most viewed trailer of all time?
Because everybody went to go see Doctor Strange, that's why.
I look at that trailer and a couple of things like stick out to me. I like water. The water looks good. So visually, I'm sure it'll be like a lot of fun. Looking at it, it'll be a lot of fun. And it's a James Cameron movie, and it's going to deliver when it comes to the visual effects. So there's that. When I look at that trailer, and then I see the reaction it got as far as like the hits are concerned with like how many views, I really am just puzzled with like what it is that people get so excited about with Avatar. Did you guys see the trailer? Did you guys care?
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and I mean, I
didn't care.
I'm mostly just excited to go back to the world, really. I mean, I really like the visuals in the first one. So I'm kind of curious what new stuff they bring out in this one.
I could literally care less about this.
Cool.
I hated the first one. I hate this trailer. Pandora was like, honestly, was so whatever to me at Animal Kingdom.
Oh, that's right. You went to that. Yeah.
I do not care. Like, the first movie, I walked out with a headache because you have to wear the stupid glasses. And those glasses give me a headache.
Did you ever go back and see it?
Nope. I don't think I've seen it since.
Ago. That was over 10 years ago. It was like 12 years ago.
And we saw it from the first row because we got there late.
If you ever I would recommend you see it again, only because what you're describing sounds like an atrocious way to enjoy a movie.
I've tried. Okay. They would play it on TV all the time.
They did, didn't they? And yeah. I just wouldn't care to.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Anyway, there was also a Lightyear trailer that came out. And I wasn't thinking about this, but I was primed to think about this because both Peter and Kyle pointed this out. And that is that Chris Evans was brought in to voice this version of Buzz Lightyear, who apparently like jumps in time, which is what Captain America pretty much is in the MCU, which is hilarious. Anyway.
No, yeah, actually, I got that from the beginning. That was like, oh, you just wanted Captain America in this movie.
You want a man at a time, basically. There's potential with a man at a time story, and I'm a sucker for those, obviously. Pixar rarely, if ever, they've delivered a bad movie. So again, like, I always have faith in them. I always have faith in them more so when it comes to Disney animation. Because sometimes Disney animation doesn't, like, have a home run. Lately they have been, but like, you know, sometimes you get a Ralph Breaks the Internet or well, any other ones, I guess. I don't know how I feel about I don't like Big Hero 6 all that much, but I know some people love Big Hero 6. I know you do, and then the series and everything. That's a movie I don't really care to watch again, Big Hero 6, and haven't in a long time. But hey, that's everybody's has a different take on it. I mean, I love Frozen 2. Peter, I think it's like the worst thing ever made. Like, he hates that film with a passion. Very much so. Anywho. I am going to have an open mind with this film. And it was a good trailer. But man, like, I'm having a hard time just getting over the effect of, like, seeing a character that is called Buzz Lightyear and has, like, the features of Buzz Lightyear. But my mind looks at that and I'm like, that's not Buzz. Mm-hmm. That's not the real Buzz. And it's just like, and then also seeing like the merch come out for it just feels
I
so
saw it today.
dirty.
We went to Target before we started this,
Uh-huh.
and they already have all the merch, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
When does it even come out? Does it come out soon?
June.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I feel like I saw this tweet today.
Remember, Alexis? Pixar films used to come out in theaters, and when they did, it used to be in June. And if there wasn't a pandemic, and if there wasn't an asshole called Chapek, a great film called Luca would have been released in June in theaters in 2020.
Is it being released in theaters?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
Lightyear
that's where you were going.
But you see, Lightyear gets the theatrical release. Why? Because it has the franchise name. Whereas original movies like Luca and Turning Red and Soul, and well, Soul and Onward I'll count different, but with Luca and Turning Red, like Disney Plus. And yes, I get it that like they were streaming giants and they gained a fan base they otherwise would not have if they weren't on Disney Plus. But it's still the principle of the thing. Like, I would have wanted the option to have seen both of those movies in theaters. But it also feels like dirty how, like, okay, well, the Toy Story, like, legacy movie, oh, that's going to go in theaters for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were excited?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I really like the trailer. And then I read this tweet today to David, where somebody, I think jokingly wrote, imagine you're watching the movie, and then it gets to the end, and then it's Andy saying he wants a Buzz Lightyear toy, and then it's his mom being like, we'll see. And everybody was like, honestly, it's fucking cheesy, but like, let me see it.
They're gonna do that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could definitely see it working. Like, I mean, Toy Story 4 worked a lot for me, so when it comes to the Toy Story feels, it definitely would do it. I wonder though, like, it is like I don't expect this to feel like a Toy Story movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I to an extent, I don't know what to expect with the movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I feel like that with, like, every Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Like, I never really know, like, what's actually gonna happen. And then they also announced a new one that they're
Elemental?
making. Uh-huh. Interesting.
My first thought was Avatar, The Last Airbender. I was like, Earth, Air, Water, Fire, what?
And that one's coming out next year?
I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm just excited because I feel like I'm excited for the new era of Pixar. And
I'll say this.
I'm happy
Go ahead.
that they're allowing, like, a lot of people to work on projects that they're passionate about. Like freaking Turning Red. If you guys saw, like, all of the behind the scenes stuff, oh my god, I was bawling. I was crying so much.
No, I feel like between I think just about all of the stories that have come out with the Pixar and Disney animation films have been personal stories from their creators. And that's not something like Disney is well known for as a movie studio. So I think it's curious to see that in the realm of animation, there is more room for, you know, the creators to actually make films, like real movies, not like you know, where they have to like compromise or capitulate with like the demands of a fan base, or like a Star Wars or a Marvel, where you have to like, that's a whole fight in and of itself. But with like the animated films, you feel that they feel free to make the movie and you know, tell the story that is ultimately their story. And between, you know, Luca and Turning Red and Encanto, and this whole like Disney Plus honestly propelling all three of those films to massive success, it feels like more so than the 2010s. Animation at Disney has like roared back to life in a way it hasn't felt like on this scale since maybe the Disney Renaissance and since the heyday of Pixar in the 2000s era, where they were releasing like hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like it's come back, both studios full force, where they're releasing like great film after great film after great film, and even the ones that haven't been quote unquote great have been really good, good to really good.
Yeah.
And also been personal, whether it be with Raya and the Last Dragon, Soul, and Onward. Also films, which, by the way, were not sequels either. So, yeah. I'm really excited when it comes to Disney animation in particular. So, yeah. Should we get to this She-Hulk trailer? I've seen some comments to suggest that perhaps the feel that this trailer and the vibe that this trailer gave off is very comics accurate. For what that's worth, again, I've always said fuck the comics and like do an actual like adaptation and do your own thing, you know? I know I people feel, you know, very passionate about like, you know, their fandoms when it comes to comic books. I get it. I saw this trailer and it's just so many reasons these days, like, where I just can't give a fuck about the MCU in a lot of ways. And I just see, like, missed opportunity after missed opportunity. I see, in the form of, like, Mark Ruffalo, I just feel so bad for the guy. Because they can never actually do a story that's about him. He's always just a side character that's there to support somebody else. And Mark Ruffalo is a great Hulk.
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor, period. Yes. And he always gets short-shifted. Even in Endgame, he's the only character that has like an arc off screen.
Yeah.
It's just like, and he's one of the original 6 Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, he gets like next to nothing to do. And then I see him get stuck with this, which feels like the Disney Channel meets the CW, but with Marvel. And I mean like the worst of Disney Channel, not even the best of Disney Channel. Like, I mean like the worst, like the worst of Disney Channel meets the worst of the CW. Which, by the way, the CW I think is just dead now from what I've seen. Like they canceled all their shows. Yeah. Like the only one left is like Superman and Lois, and I guess the Flash is going to come back for a last season. But I think they got rid of everything else. I think even Stargirl is like rumored to be on the
Stargirl is not on
wait,
TV,
not Stargirl.
right?
Wait,
Batgirl?
What's
Stargirl's the only one that I haven't heard anything about.
But it's on CW, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was on an app.
HBO?
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I think maybe like they put the episodes up there, but I don't know.
Oh.
And that's another thing like we should mention, right? Because like this basically is the end of an era. Like the 2010s, the CW was like the place for superhero content, and their massive crossover events with like Arrow and Flash and what were this, you know, Supergirl and Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow. That was the peak of it all. Before like Netflix had their Marvel shows, before Disney Plus, obviously, everybody was talking about that and was like up to date with those shows, and you can really feel like an era just.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like when I went to Comic-Con, like that's all and like anybody would talk about, like
really?
The CW shows, yeah.
Wow.
It was everywhere, and all the merch, like the actual Comic-Con merch, like that's all you would see. And like I remember I didn't watch Arrow when it first came out, which is like the first one of like that whole thing. But The Flash came out when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, Agent Carter, and Gotham came out. I think they all came out at the same time.
We're talking about 2013, 2014.
Yeah, I stuck with Flash, and I stuck with Agent Carter.
Unfortunately, you didn't have much to stick with Agent Carter because she got shafted, didn't she?
Well,
and I stuck with all of them.
What was that you shared? That they're going to do a Captain Carter show?
That they're, like, talking about it. What the fuck?
Bring back the actual Agent Carter. Fuck the Captain Carter bullshit. I didn't even like her in the fucking... in What If, or... oh, I guess she was tolerable in What If. But it really pissed me off in Multiverse of Madness. It was just annoying, the whole idea of it. I was... whatever. You bring back Haley Atwell, and again, you just don't do nothing. Whatever. Yeah. It's an end of an era. And it kind of makes you feel a little bit nostalgic for the 2010s now.
No, yeah.
Because it was a really exciting time.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, when that started, specifically with The Flash, I remember just watching a whole bunch of videos, people reacting to every episode and everything. Like, this is like 2013. Yeah, I would watch a bunch of videos like that, and it kind of got me through after high school, a little bit of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's something, that's for sure. Now, with She-Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, I just said it before the recording, like, this reminds me more of a CW show. It just, I mean, one thing, I don't really know what the heck the story is. I mean, they tell us, like, she's going to be a lawyer for superheroes and all that. But I'm just not really sure what exactly she's going to go through in this show. It looks like they're going to go straight for comedy. Like, I don't know, which could be fun. But they gotta fix that CG if they want to make me laugh.
And I truly, truly believe that is what they intended for it to look like. Because there is no way that they would release a trailer without it being somewhat ready. And for those people... Do you remember
how bad it looked like the first Will Smith Genie?
Yes. And that was... They were done. They were like, yep, we're finished. So those people that are like, oh, it's not ready... It 100% is ready.
They would not have released this trailer.
Yes.
She-Hulk we're talking about here, if they thought that they still needed to work on it.
Yes. 100%.
This was bad all around. Mm-hmm. For me, I guess the biggest issue is I can't bring myself to care. I'm sorry. I just can't bring myself to care. If they're going for comedy, I don't know if the intention was for it all to come off as cringe, but it did. Worst of all, wow, that's what she looks like?
It's so bad.
She's
but, like,
the main
even
character,
he looks
and that's
really bad.
She doesn't look as bad as her.
Yeah, but still,
she sticks out. Like, she sticks out in every image, and it's like
the ending scene where she's carrying the guy.
Mm-hmm.
That looks so bad.
It was awful. That was bad. No, it was terrible. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So maybe I'm here for a Marvel property failing, though. I think they need a failure, and preferably one that's not like Eternals, where it's like that one's like being labeled as the fucking failure. No. That wasn't bad, period. Now this, on the other hand, I'm here for the chaos that's gonna cause whenever that thing drops and everything. It's complicated, obviously, with Marvel, because like most of the stuff that comes out with them, I'm very like whatever on, and then they pull me back with something that I really liked, like Eternals or Moon Knight, and then here comes Miss Marvel, and I mean, I've already gone on tangents why I'm pissed off with that, or don't care. But yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing with.
And then they're doing an
Marvel.
Echo show.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I don't know. I guess we'll see it, right? Like, whatever. Anywho. Yeah. Let's go ahead now and get into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay. Look. I first want to hear, before we get into any of you guys' thoughts, I'd like to hear what you thought of the overall review that we had last week. As far as, like, takeaways, right? Like, what were you surprised to hear as far as the overall tone of it? My impression was that, it wasn't, like, overwhelmingly positive. At least the overall, like, review of it. Because I think, like, Peter starts off with, like, well, this isn't great. Mm-hmm. First of all. I mean, that's kind of where it begins. But here's, like, a long list of reasons that makes me fall in love. Maybe not with it, but at these little bitty things. Mm-hmm. And as the podcast progressed, there was a lot more stuff, you know, little moments here and there, individually, that I did love. But the more and more and more I think about it, the whole just doesn't work. For me, I think whereas Kyle and Peter, they might find enough to, like, they can appreciate the whole as it is. And I can too, somewhat. I don't know. It's weird because, like, I feel like I was easily the one that was, like, the hardest on the film. Like, where it needed to be, like, punched. Let's be fair about that. I did go back and listen to the review. I don't know what the fuck Kyle was talking about where he felt there was charisma between America Chavez and Doctor Strange. I felt there was nothing. There was nothing going on between those two as far as, like, charisma or chemistry. Nothing. But hey, there's that.
I don't agree with him saying that this is the most fun that he's had since Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I didn't get what he's saying by that. I think, like, he's talking about, like, just goofy levels of fun. Like, I think, like, the way it sounds when he says that, it's like, okay, this is the most fun period I've had with any comic book film since the Fantastic Four. And the way that sounds is like, oh, so he must really think highly of the Fantastic Four films, and no comic book film since then has, like, lived up to, like, no, that's not what it is. I think he was talking about, like, just, like, silly, goofy levels of fun. Like, this, like, Doctor Strange had a lot of goofy shit in it by design. And a lot of comic book films lately don't do that.
But his favorite one is Guardians. And
far be it for me to, like, explain Kyle to you. I don't know.
So
Peacemaker.
I didn't understand that. I think that Peter has grown soft.
I wasn't gonna say it, and I didn't want to say it, and I held off saying it for such a long time. And I knew if I went there, it would have went into a different direction. And I'll be honest, like, there were moments where, like, okay, he pushed back, and I let him have those moments where he pushed back. As long as I made myself clear as where I stood, it was fine with me. But look, listen, this is where, like,
he was making excuses for this movie.
That is a very fair thing to say, because I remember him not putting up with this shit with a whole bunch of other movies and shows where we love, but he was like, not good enough for me. Let's throw it away with fire. And with a fiery passion, like, he would eviscerate so many things that we love, like a Frozen 2, Yes, I'm going there. Or like an Endgame even. Or Star Wars Rebels he doesn't like. Or so many other things, right? And a lot of the things he was saying, I get. But when I compare it with a lot of the things he has said in the past, he would not make, as you put it, he would not make this many, he would not be as reasonable. Let's put Wanda's words. He wouldn't be as reasonable as he was with this film as he wasn't with so many others.
I understand the points that he's trying to make. The one that I'm like, absolutely not, is the comparison between Wanda and Strange and going through the same things.
Did you hear my reaction to that? Did you hear my? Because I clearly I couldn't swallow that either, and I was like going off on it because like I understood the point he was making.
Yeah. And I could see the movie trying to do that, but it absolutely did not do that.
No.
I can get by the goofiness. I don't mind that at all. The film looks really good. But what these people do in this movie, these characters,
yeah. So,
to me, wait, real quick. To me, I use the word sanctimonious because, like, I can recognize that on some level, yes, they were trying to have a parallel between Strange and Wanda, and like, you know, like one like being willing to let go and the other unwilling to. Sure. To me, one, I think it's too thin. They don't do a good enough job of doing that at all in the movie. And two, as a big fan of Wanda, and as someone who doesn't really care that much for Doctor Strange, it's like you had a character here with all of the nuance, and you had a character with Strange where it's just a little bit of stuff here. It just feels bad that the character that I liked was the one that was like, you're wrong, shame on you. And the one that I don't care about was like, well, of course, he's, you know, the ex-Sorcerer Supreme. He has to be the one that's right. And this is where it's like, okay, maybe these two shouldn't have been in the same movie. Maybe Wanda should have just had her own movie.
That is like, I think ultimately what I think is my biggest complaint about this movie. This should have been a Doctor Strange movie and just Doctor Strange. There was no need to bring Wanda.
It is his movie.
I don't.
No, it's a little bit his movie, but then but then when she gets into the movie, it's all about her. Then
that's what I'm saying. Like, yes. I don't think, like, just have him be in this movie and that's it. There's no need to bring Wanda. And like, what the fuck is it with the Marvel not giving these girls their damn movie? And when they do, it's bad. And when they do, they don't care. I don't understand. And this is like, WandaVision was huge. WandaVision is still huge. They just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of this damn show. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think like what you're bringing like voice to is a particular like critique that I think is well based and well founded, because when you look at the comparisons between Wanda and Natasha, right? So both Wanda and Natasha, however well they were used as supporting players in other people's films, when they're being transitioned to have the limelight on themselves, the results have been poor as far as to how those characters are treated. First of all, Black Widow's own film was not good. But even how she's treated in her own movie, she's playing second fiddle to her replacement, which is all kinds of like disgusting to me. Then when it comes to Wanda, okay. Yeah, like you're right. Like, she's so popular. WandaVision is so big, and it feels like it's a Marvel thing to consistently do your female protagonists dirty. Because, I mean, like it or love it, or hate it really, to some people, like, she's the crazy bitch character in this movie. She's in some ways, not that it's played off this way, but for some people, they can view it as like, well, it's like, you know, the woman, she's too emotional, and she goes off on a tear, and like, okay, some people can view it that way, yeah. But as a fan of this character, it did leave me very disappointed because, like, I don't know, I guess my point was, I can go with the route of her being the villain in this movie if there was just more to it than what it was, because what was there was just sorely lacking for me. The performance was there. No one disagrees with that.
Yeah.
It's just she was the slasher villain. And if you're in here to see a slasher, like, goofy horror film, then it works. But if you're a fan of this character, and if you really love with all, you know, the growth that she had, well, we'll see growth, maybe not the right word here now, or
it's just like nothing happened with her.
Yeah.
Like, even in the end, like, I at least still get the sense that she didn't learn anything. And that's what WandaVision was supposed to be.
Well, you
and
get the sense that she learns the same thing again.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, you'd say. I mean, yeah, that's very fair, David. I'm sorry I cut you off. You were gonna say something.
Well, I mean, for me, my thoughts on the movie, I was basically like with Peter, only he was a bit more enthusiastic about it. I really did enjoy, like,
and forgiving.
I really enjoyed, like,
you're not as forgiving as he is.
I really enjoyed the cinematography of it. Sam Raimi was excellent for this movie, and I want more this in the MCU.
See, this is where it's so conflicting, because finally, well, maybe not finally, let's give Eternals its due. Eternals had great, like, cinematography and lighting and set pieces too, but the rule is, for most Marvel films, with Multiverse of Madness, we get to compliment it for things that the rest of them don't do, which is having interesting cinematography. You can see a movement of the camera, like transitions and stylization, and just like it looks like a movie instead of a TV show.
And because of it, though, like, there's so much going on that, like, it almost feels airtight, like, everything about it, and it moves so fast. Like, it's kind of what I think that's something that probably Eternals needed, just like an airtight editing that can make the story go a bit faster, you know?
Sure.
And so that's really that, and the music. It's those are the only two reasons why I would rewatch this movie.
Sam Raimi and Danny Elfman deliver.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, again,
I halfway through the movie, I was like, the music, like, I paid attention, like, so much to the music in this one. Like, it just kept catching my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then halfway through, I'm like, oh, well, it's Danny Elfman, of course.
Yeah.
But you know what else I was also thinking while watching it? Like, this music's too good for what we're watching.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you get, like, the rock music, I'm like, oh my gosh, this movie needs to be more badass than it should be. Oh my gosh, it's great. But the big thing that really just that doesn't make me want to watch this, it's the characters.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
The biggest thing is that there was too many arcs going on. First, you needed the relationship between Steven and Christine. And then there's Strange and Chavez. And
Strange and Wanda.
Strange and Wanda. Strange and Wand.
Wanda and her
The
kids.
only one that worked was Strange and Wand, but it was only because you're supposed to bow to me. Right, yeah, right. And at the end, he bows. Cool. And I don't know. That's the only thing that worked for me. And
yeah, but think about how thin that is.
I know.
You know, and like, these are the two main characters in this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, that's all they could think to do with their own movie.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, I know.
They keep bringing Juan in, but he does absolutely nothing in every movie.
I know.
Like, I asked a direct question in the last podcast about Strange's arc, and when I listened to it again, I realized, okay, Peter did explain what he thought the arc was in this film. It's not that I wasn't listening. I just like, wait, that's it? And like, to me, it's like, yes, there's an acknowledgement on Peter's part that it was very thin. But like, to me, yes, there are like some things that you see him do differently, but he doesn't feel like a different character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't feel like he learned all that
Yeah.
much. You're told in dialogue that I guess he did, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
Like, he felt the same as he did before the fact.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, they should have dropped the whole Strange Christine thing. Like, I really think they should have focused, because honestly, at the beginning of the movie, when she's getting married, I really thought, oh, perfect. She's getting married. He's gonna go, hey, I'm happy for you, blah blah blah. And then they're staying friends, and maybe they just her alternate self is just gonna go in a fun little adventure for themselves. But like, they're staying friends, because
it literally gave me the ick when he was like, what I forgot what he said during the wedding to her. Like, I could have been better or some shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
that weirded me out. Like, why are you saying that here? Of all,
you don't say that at a wedding.
You don't say that at a wedding. But then as soon as you hear that line, though, it's like, but you couldn't get the girl, and I'm like, no, we don't need to do this, and I think they really should have developed more with him and Chavez. I really think they could have.
Well, the problem, David, there is because Christine and Strange haven't been seen on screen together, first of all, since 2016. And even in that movie, that felt like an afterthought in that film itself.
Yeah.
Because I think she leaves halfway through the first movie. So I think, look,
yeah,
I am a big believer in, like, having a romance. And I think I would have been in favor of more Christine if it was allowed to actually blossom into something. Because you have Sam Raimi, who does this stuff really well from the Spider-Man films, right? Now, I know some people don't like MJ, all that, from the Spider-Man movies from Raimi. But, I mean, for a lot of people, that felt like a genuine real-life romance. And I have no doubt that if this film was it was a love story between Strange and Christine, I think it could have been great. For sure. But that's not what, like, anybody like involved with the film wanted to do. That was like one of the many pieces that had to be in here by like mandate. It felt like,
and out of everything, I mean, I already told you this, Alexis, but out of anything that has been released by Marvel, this was the one where you bring up Endgame. Because Doctor Strange is the one that decided to do what he did. And they only have, like, one line.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting line. And it would have been an interesting story to go more into.
And there was...
But they didn't.
And there were moments in the movie where they could have brought it up. Like, every universe, they keep saying that Strange keeps making this big decision that affects everyone. And it's like, okay, is he not going to react to this? Like, is he gonna mention what he did at all? Or like, I really thought we were gonna have like this character moment where he actually regrets what he did, even though, like, it saved everyone. But it's like this, we could have had, honestly, you could have like a 10-minute long scene of him bringing it up, him kind of going like, I made this decision. There was millions of decisions to make, but I had to pick one that I was alive because that's the only way I knew that my plan worked. And that's like this biggest thing. It's like, I wish it would have been me to have died, and I just
that would have been actual character growth.
Yeah, and it's just like, I hate that I had to get, I hate that it had to be Stark, the number one hero of this world, the best, or what is it, the strongest Avenger. Just keep that joke going throughout the movies or something. But his death brought about the least amount of deaths or something like that. You could have really brought it up a lot.
Yeah.
But no, we decided with Wanda being evil.
No, oh my gosh, okay. Yeah, so Wanda was another big complaint I have. So
it's just not sitting well, is it?
No, it's not.
Like, it's...
So what really started it, honestly, was that thing Kyle said in the podcast where he goes, I really like how they portrayed her, because, with depression, it comes in waves, and some days you have good days, and others, it hits you hard, and you have really bad days. First of all, Kyle, I'm sorry, but there is a giant leap to go from, losing control of your powers and fucking up people and wanting to murder a child. Like, I don't have depression. I don't know much about it, but I feel like this is a weird way to compliment her character. I don't know.
The way I felt about that is, even if you were going to do that, I feel like that's a classic example of projection, because it's not anywhere in the text of the film that's why Wanda is doing this, because she suffers from depression. I mean, obviously she's not in a good mental state, but I feel like that's not something that's there for you to read into. I know that if you want to think about okay, well, what led Wanda to being in this state? Well, okay, but that's not really in the movie. That's something maybe you want to add on to it. I know a lot of reviews I've seen when it comes to Wanda being evil is, well, it makes sense because the Darkhold. Okay, let's say I'm going to go with you on that. Fucking show me. In the movie.
There's not even a scene where the Darkhold is whispering to her or anything like that. I don't think there's anything like that. And so it's really just her. And here's the other thing too. This is why it really bothered me when Kyle said that. The show addresses that. If you remember in the scene where the whole, what is grief without if not love persevering, she mentions it's like this wave keeps coming over me, and it's basically she's afraid that wave is going to consume her or something. It's going to take over. She says that in the show, and then at the end of the final episode, she's saying goodbye to her kids. She goes to the living room, turns off the lights. She looks out the window, and she sees the barrier coming towards her. There is a literal wave about to come over her, and it's going to take away everything she loves. And she's facing it head on. Okay, so she knows. So she's dealt with the wave. She knows how to deal with the wave. And so the fact that we go to Doctor Strange here, and she wants to murder a child, and she is slaughtering hundreds of people. No, that is horrible. That is the worst way you can handle a character to me. I hate it. And so now, after the show, I mentioned it before. I didn't want her to be a villain. But then after a while, I said, okay, if you're gonna make her a villain, build her up to an Avengers movie, and not a Thanos level threat. Make her like a Loki level threat. Make her the villain of the next Avengers movie, and have her be the way the team comes together. Because imagine Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and whoever the new Black Panther is, they don't know her, so they're gonna go, we have to kill her. It's prophesized that she's gonna take over the world. But then you have Hawkeye, Falcon, and War Machine, who know exactly what she's been through. And especially Hawkeye, who's been trying to push her
Hawkeye and Pietro, what the fuck?
Who's been trying to push her to do good. And so that's how you get butting heads. And so at one point they all have to come together and decide.
That sounds like House of M, basically.
That is
literally the comic. And that's a way you could have made this great. A great story. But you don't. And it feels like that's wasted in this, where it's you feel is that it? And that was really a letdown and disappointing. And then while you were touching on those things, before WandaVision and this movie, she was on the Avengers team, and Vision, and like, okay, are we like, was Vision the only one that gave a flying fuck about Wanda? Like, where is everybody else? Why don't they care? What happened to Clint? Like, would they not like care enough to like seek her out and help her if she's going through all this bad shit? Hello?
Yeah. Like, there's no way that Clint wouldn't go out and help her. Like, there's no way.
And then this would have been a great way to bring in the new characters like Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel. I know there's supposed to be one other character, and you see him in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but he doesn't become a hero or anything. But that'd be a good way to introduce him.
Like the Young Avengers.
Yeah, introduce the Young Avengers, and then that's how they come together, is that they're the ones that go, hey.
And aren't her kids part of the Young Avengers?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to do anything with that. But that could have been a cool way to bring in the team together now. It's that they're the ones that go, hey, we grew up watching you guys. And, you know, you could probably have Doctor Strange going like, hey, if you guys want to be heroes, you know, this is something that you got to learn. Like, you got to make the tough decisions. And they're the ones that go, can we believe that she's still good? Can we believe that good will prevail in her, that the whole dark hold is taking over her, that good will prevail? And so that's how they come together, and they try to, like, they fight Wanda a bit, but then at the end, they all, oh my gosh, you could have had Hawkeye have her, you know, try bringing her back, but then you could have had Winter Soldier going like, hey, I get how your mind is fucked up because of this book, because of what happened to you, but so was mine. I can get through this.
Like, imagine her and Yelena having a conversation.
That she lost everything too. She lost 5 years, and I lost my sister. I lost the one person that actually cared about me. And it's just, you know, and this would have ended the whole Phase 4 arc, that this is about grief, or this is like about mental health, basically. It's just such a waste of it. And it's, again, the story is House of M. Wanda is a big character in the comics. Why wouldn't you make her the villain of an Avengers movie? So
yeah,
it's like, the more you think about it, like, the Multiverse of Madness, for all intents and purposes, was marketed and sold as like, well, it's not just a Doctor Strange film. It's the Multiverse of Madness. So it's the next big, like, MCU event movie, like, on the level of an Avengers. Like, we even got some cameos in there that will tease you, and a whole bunch of surprises. So I guess, like, for a lot of people and how the film was sold, like, you could say that, yeah, this was her being the villain of an Avengers movie, although not really at all.
Yeah, I really don't mind her being in this movie. It's just, you know, they could have, you know, maybe she could have helped him get over Christine or something, and maybe you could have had like a moment, and then maybe her, Wanda, and Chavez, they could have had like a little friendship going on. You know, it's not her daughter, but she would like to see her as one, something like that. And I'm saying, in my mind, she's not the villain. It's Doctor Strange and Wanda going on this adventure or something, you know. And then after credits scene, you see that, oh, she just wanted to be with Doctor Strange because she wanted to get a specific spell. That could have been an after credit scene, and then that's how you build her up to Avengers movie. And so,
I don't know. I just, like, by the end of her last scene where she's like crying about her kids and everything, and then she saves the day, I just couldn't care anymore at that point.
Like, he knew what was gonna happen. Obviously, they weren't going to like kill her at the end of this movie, and you knew somehow Chavez was gonna get control of her power. Which, by the way, just saying, "Hey, you could do this," it doesn't help much.
I'll forgive it because I like hokey shit like that.
I do too. It's just.
And also, that's the only thing it can feel anything for that character. So, I mean, on top of that, because, like, America Chavez just feels like a waste in this film. I don't know.
She's so cool, and they don't do anything with her. And I even heard somebody say oh, they brought Wanda because they needed her to go through, like, the multiverse. Huh?
What?
You do know Doctor Strange is a sorcerer, right? Even if he didn't have America, he probably could have done it himself, and he didn't need Wanda. You don't need Wanda in this movie.
I mean, he did cast a spell in the last one that brought other people from other multiverses, didn't he?
Make it make sense.
Okay. What else, guys, for this movie?
I think that's it.
Oh, we forgot the cameo.
Oh yeah. The Illuminati thing. It was funny. Oh my gosh, it was such brutal deaths, and I loved the fight. It was hilarious.
What fight?
The first fight? I just remember everybody going, ooh.
Oh, I saw a picture. It was fucking hilarious. It was it's in the movie. Mr. Fantastic goes, and Wanda, don't do anything stupid. Like, Black Bolt here, he can kill you with just one word and everything. She's in it and all that. But in the picture, though, they did it differently. Where they go, Wanda, Black Bolt can tell you where your kids are. Go ahead, Black Bolt, tell her. It's just.
Oh my god!
And then there's the credits in the next picture. Oh my gosh! Which actually. Oh, you think about it, it was kind of dumb to tell her, like, how his power works, and then that's how she, like, figured out how to kill him.
There was some, I did say, they were saying the reason why he did tell her was because that body wasn't the bad Wanda, that was, like, an innocent woman that she hijacked, an innocent version of Wanda. Because she was, like, dreamwalking.
Yeah, some people were saying that they wouldn't have cared. Chances are they were willing to kill their Wanda. So the other Wanda.
The only one that was like, oh, maybe we're doing something bad was Professor Xavier.
Yeah. Of course it would be him.
And then
but even he looked very questionable.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I love the fact that they gave him the waves when he started using his power. Now,
that was cool.
Was that in the X-Men movie? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was cool.
What about how do you feel about that chair? It seemed a bit ridiculous.
The chair was so ugly.
I know, I don't like the chair. I actually prefer the one in, what is it, X-Men?
Days of Future Past.
Where it's just like, you see his whole body and like you see...
Well, that one's actually hovering.
Yeah, that one's actually hovering too. The other one looks like it was a cart.
That was...
It looks like one of those beds, like those kid beds.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, I know the freaking theme song was... Oh my god. I love the X-Men, and like, I was excited to see Professor X, but we knew that he was going to be in it. And so everybody yelled at that part, but when the music came on, I was like, because it played like a few seconds afterwards, and that's when I was like, oh my god.
I did cheer for John Krasinski.
Oh yeah,
I did cheer for that. I mean, it's a cool fan cast, and it was fun.
But I hate that it was here.
I guess, I don't know.
Because I love Fantastic Four, and I hate that this is where we first see them.
Well, you see him turn into spaghetti.
Yeah. His head just like...
I will never forgive Marvel for not bringing them in or waiting to do Civil War without Fantastic Four.
Well, they didn't have the rights back then, so...
That's what I'm saying. They could have waited.
Okay, I guess.
Wasn't there a Civil War Part 2 they can adapt?
Yeah, and they got the right character for it. It's supposed to be Captain Marvel. That's like the villain, I guess.
It's not the same.
It's just a reminder of how underdeveloped. Like, what is Captain Marvel to these people in this cinematic universe? We don't even know Captain Marvel. And she had her own movie.
What is she to us?
Like, how does she interact with the rest? We only saw one moment where she interacted with Hulk. And...
Like, how am I supposed to buy this a whole show where, like, a character, Miss Marvel, like, loves Carol Danvers, or I don't even love Carol.
Yeah.
She was gone for, like, how long?
Mm-hmm.
Since the 90s?
Did I miss something, like, in this MCU? Is that they're like a a reality show and the people got to know them, or like what happened? I don't know. Yeah, there is all that. I guess I don't know. It goes to the cameos and Black Bolt being involved there. It's like, well, though, how can I read it? Well, we're in 2022, and thanks to Kevin Feige, the disaster that was the Inhumans TV show now has like some kind of like movie cred, like representation in the MCU movies, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still doesn't. So I feel like I can't let this review go without like acknowledging that, because but then if they were to have been brought in, they would have been killed by Wanda. So I don't know, I would have liked that either. So it's like, I guess dodged a bullet there. Because that would have felt like an insult, because I feel like in some ways Black Bolt being the first one and then him dying that way was like, I mean, that felt personal on Kevin Feige's part a little bit. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know, like, what to make of all of that. It is what it is, I suppose. But, like, I don't know. When I walked out of this movie the first time, I was just so, like, man, Marvel really pissed me off with so many little things that were just so annoying here. Like, you know, Kevin Carter saying I can do this all day.
Cringe.
Fuck me. That post-credit scene where Charlize Theron shows the fuck out of nowhere and like,
I had no idea what was going on.
Here's my tease for Doctor Strange 3. Let's go.
I literally had no idea what was going on.
I did like the second end credit scene though.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
I didn't see that one yet.
You really missed out.
But I know, but I was mad. I just like, you know what? I know it was. I know what it is, and I heard it was funny. I know you guys liked it, and most people didn't like it because it was a joke. I heard joke, and like, you know what? This whole thing has been a joke to me. I don't need to stay here more for this. So I walked out and I waited in the car. I refused to waste any more of my time sitting there because I was just so annoyed with all of it. So it's like, but I do love the visual stuff.
Yeah.
I do love the music.
The part where he's like explaining the walking or whatever the fuck. Oh my god, it's so good. The horror stuff, like where Wanda's chasing them. I mean, I was like, oh crap.
I did jump once, and it was with those monsters in that temple thing. When they first showed up, I actually jumped.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. They were hidden in there really well. Like, came out at the last minute. I love the idea of like Strange overcoming the ghosts and then wearing them as like this big cape and then shooting over to like take down Wanda. God, like, see, that's stuff that's so like visually awesome, and that's stuff like that used to be in like every superhero movie, and that's the stuff that used to be the saving graces of like superhero films. Now there's none of it. And while I agree that character is more important, I would have loved this film, even with the Wanda like bullshit. If I loved the Doctor Strange character, or if this movie made me care about him, I think I would have overcome that. I didn't, and subsequently, I don't care about anybody in this movie. And when I can't care about any of your leads, I can't care about your movie.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, think about this. I put this at number 15 on my MCU movies list, and it's high for being 15. But the only reason it's on 15 was because of the craft, was because of the visual spectacle that it is. And it really goes to show you how little I care for so many of the MCU films at this point. Like, in some ways, this was my least favorite Marvel movie. In some ways. But then I think about like how bad like Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor, you know, it goes on, and it's like, well, at least it's bad in an interesting way. And, like, the characterization for me is like completely non-existent.
Yeah, me too.
and the one that's given to Wanda, first of all, isn't. But the role that she's given is just...
Yeah.
It's everything I didn't want with this movie. For her.
Yeah. Like, not even for... Because honestly, I don't care about Doctor Strange. I only watched the movie because of Wanda. I'm not even gonna lie. And there was nothing there.
I like Doctor Strange. I actually really liked the first one. So this is just kind of disappointing that it was all for multiverse setup. Wanda does kind of take over the movie a lot, and what they give to Strange, it wasn't enough. There was too much going on with him. They needed to shorten it. Honestly, it would have been fine if they would have taken out Christine, or just at least say, no, it's no longer a love story. They're just gonna be friends.
Yeah. I think we're done here. I think we reached the point where it's like, well, yeah, there's the disappointment. I hope you enjoyed it or not. Anyway, thank you, Alexis, and thank you, David, for being here. Stay tuned on our podcast the next few weeks and how we juggle all the stuff that's coming out. And it's quite a bit of it, as it usually is now in the summer season. So we've got Obi-Wan, we've got Stranger Things, we've got Miss Marvel, we've got, I guess, Top Gun Maverick, Men, the new film by Alex Garland, and then Jurassic World.
I'm so excited for that one.
For Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see it this week. So, yay, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out and then also crushing us at the same time. So... there is that. You can stay here under our spotlight for all the stuff and the stories coming out of the world of movies and more. And until next time, we will see you. Bye.
Bye.